Interesting, always. Anthony Grant. That one. Fine, good stuff.
It wasn't too long.
Oh, no. Right, just a few technical things, like put a capital B on Bible. You can on Scripture too. Nice, but certainly on Bible. This was a nice presentation. You've got some artwork here. God will do as He wills. He always has, yes. Good.
I like no.
Yeah. No, that's right. You write well. Maybe you should plan on writing a book, down the line. I think this is Nathan's Following Jesus. Was that yours?
What is it?
You have a name on it? Have a look. See what you
I'll be
do.
able to tell by the English. No.
Not you. Who wrote that
Let
one?
me see. Is that yours? The Alan?
North Korean captives, Jews in Nazi Germany.
No, that's mine.
It was yours. It didn't have a name, I think. Unless I'm
Yeah, that especially if he doesn't have a
Give it
name,
to
that's
you,
probably
right.
mine.
Yeah, 7, 8. It's fine. I just put a few verses in. You can always pepper it with verses, that. Anna Ababi, she does really well. She's limited, but she does very well. And then there's always Grace Nima Mativo. Excellent summary. Revelation 5:10. You like that one? God has got people from all nations together, made them into a kingdom, and they will reign on the earth. JW say no, over the earth. That's just nonsense. Epano in Greek would be suspended over the earth. They're going to reign on terra firma. So you say to your friends, where do you want to be in the future? They say, I'm going to go to heaven. Why do you want to go to heaven when Jesus won't be there?
I'm sorry to hear that. You're going to be missing out.
Try that. JW is obsessed with the idea that 144,000 are going to be with Jesus over the top of the earth, right?
Yes.
Isn't that right?
Yeah.
See how bad that is, though? That's poisoning. That's cyanide in your coffee. Don't do it. Stop it. You're reading the Bible wrong then. It doesn't work that way. Good stuff.
My dad wasn't in the church, but he thought that heaven sounded like hell to him.
Well, sounds like hell, right?
What he thought was hell. Yeah.
Yeah. Sacrifice is infinitely more effective than animal. Yes. Is sacrifice infinitely more effective than animal? Absolutely. Sean's going to talk about the atonement, which has been over-fussed, I think. For me, and Sean will say something like this, the atonement is like a jewel with many facets. Yes, Jesus died as an example of patient love in view of suffering. That's one thing. He certainly died in our place, but for us we'd be on the cross. That's the substitutionary element. Did God punish the innocent? That's a little bit more tricky to explain. There are places in the Bible where somebody intervened and said, don't kill them. Remember that? Moses said, don't do this, God. And is it Phineas in one of the Psalms? He said, please, don't do this. So there is an intervention thing that goes on. Do you think different facets of the atonement? The ultimate law is certainly that the wages of sin is death. That's the constitution of the universe. So if the wages of sin is death, somebody's got to pay that penalty. So they practiced that, shedding the blood of animals all those years, I take it, as a kind of a schoolmaster thing. And then I've said, here's perhaps the illustration. You have a little lamb that is very sick when it's born, and you keep it alive, you feed it milk during the night, right? And it grows up to be a full-fledged sheep. Then you tell a whopping lie to your mother. Your mother says, the result of that, you're going to have to kill that little lamb. That would pain you, wouldn't it? Something like that. It's an object lesson, isn't it? But people fussed over this atonement more than Sean will do, I'm sure, a very good presentation on the atonement for us. Oh, by the way, the Socinians, those are our forefathers in this Unitarian faith, they were rather bad on the atonement. They were like the present-day Christadelphians. They say, no, there's no substitutionary element at all. I think that's wrong. We're more like the evangelicals. It is a substitution. The text is Mark 10:45, where it says that Jesus died in exchange for you, in place of you. That sounds to me like
Substitutionary.
Does that make good sense to you?
Yes.
I think it's right. Okay. Anyway, this was Nathan. Good stuff. Grace again. Read that one. Yeah. This is Anthony Grant. All good stuff. you're all authors. There are going to be 3 authors at our conference. New books, Dan Gill's
Oh, this
book.
is the one from.
Oh, that's today, sorry.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
I'll go with my doctors.
Grace from today. Oh, no. Today is not. Yeah, I'll keep these. Oh, this one, right. Yeah, this is Grace's. Yeah. Right. There is the awful side of those who fall away. You know, we don't subscribe to the idea of OSAS, you know that phrase, OSAS, once saved, always. Yeah, our good friend Sean, you're going to meet Sean. Yeah, I would love to think that once saved, always saved will work, but it doesn't work on so many texts. Hebrews chapter 10, Hebrews chapter 6, 10 is particularly that. If having known the truth, you then fall away, there remains no further forgiveness of sin. I don't measure on that text. It's an awful text. It assumes that you've really known the truth. I think a lot of people have not, so, you know, it's a tough text. All right, so that was Anthony Grant. I'll keep that. First chapter titled, Jesus and the Elixir of Life, discusses. And here's one for Levi. I talked to him, and he sent me a whole slew of essays I've got to read. Yes, he's doing well.
He's a smart guy.
Seems to be. Is he Jewish then with that name, Levi? No?
His first name's Noah. His name's Noah Levi Sawyers.
Okay. All right. Whose is this one? Oh, it's Anna. That one. All right, the immortality plan then, the scheme. Just have a look at the underneath where it says 2 Peter 1:4. I'll refer to these texts. You are partakers of the divine nature. You aware of that one?
1 Peter.
1 Peter. 2 Peter 1:4 maybe? Maybe let's just check it.
It might
Read
be
that.
second.
2 Peter 1:4, what's that?
Might be second. It is 2 Peter.
Is that a New World Translation you have?
No. 1:4.
Actually, 2 Peter 1:4. What does it say?
For by these he has granted to us his precious and magnificent promises, so that by them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world by lust.
Power pack sounds. You are divine, not deity, obviously divine. You have to be like God, like Jesus. I see that. Then Galatians 3:8, you know that. The gospel was preached ahead of time to Abraham. Key. Galatians 3:8. Compare Genesis 22, obedience and blessing. Hebrews 5:9 is there. Salvation for those who obey Jesus. Romans, we did them. 1:5, 16:26, obedience and faith. Obeying Jesus, 1 Peter 1:2. It seems to me if you want to tell people about the Bible, it's the story of God speaking and nobody listening often, isn't it? With Israel, he constantly goes at them with the prophets. And they either lower the prophet Jeremiah into the mud hole, right? It's a rather tragic story, isn't it? People refuse to listen to God. That's what you're speaking for God in a hostile world. It's a tough assignment.
Anthony, I have a question for you if you get a minute.
Absolutely.
In that 1 Peter 1:7 about the glory that we're to receive.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question about a word in Romans 8 about where it says, okay, for I consider the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory that is to be revealed to us or in us.
In us.
Is what is the Greek word?
And yes. Not to us. No, it's a significant point. You all know you're going to see the glory of God and Jesus and the kingdom, all that. But this glory is going to be revealed. Is going to be revealed in you, not just to you. See the difference?
Yeah, big difference. Eh?
Yes. I think I've probably got that right in my translation. Some translations have that right. Cos, do you happen to see that one?
Yet I'm convinced that what we suffer in the present is nothing compared to the future kingdom glory which is going to be revealed in us.
Good. And other translations have that too? Anyway, it doesn't matter. But no, that is significant. And to back it up then shall the righteous shine like the sun in its strength. Where's that?
Daniel.
Matthew 13.
Oh, Matthew 13.
Let's read that one. You can imagine the goosebumps, I think, when the Messiah said this one. What is it? Matthew 10, 13 rather. 13, 10, something like that.
And the disciples came to him and said, "Why do you speak to us in parables?"
Yes.
That's what 13:10 says.
Okay. The wrong one. Let's go. Yeah.
You can ask for a machine.
1339. No, we don't even need the magic machine. We can handle it. 1339. The harvest is the end of the age. In verse 40, Matthew 13, verse 40. Just as the tares are gathered up and burned, that's all clear. 41. Son of Man will send forth his angels, gather out of his kingdom, as it then will be, all stumbling blocks and those who commit lawlessness. Thrown into the furnace of fire. Awful text. 43. Then the righteous will shine forth as the sun in the kingdom of their Father.
That
You've
is
got
actually
this.
that is quoted from Daniel 12.
Absolutely. Let's go back to Daniel 12. Always help your people with that. Go back and then you have a whole sermon already done for you in Daniel.
I know that one real well for a reason.
Why is that?
Jeez.
Daniel 12. Michael the Great Prince.
Did you learn that well in JW days too?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Which verse did they do well there?
Daniel 12:1.
12:1. Well, that's about the Great Tribulation.
Yeah.
Did they have that right as future? Is it for them?
Michael the Great Prince.
Oh,
right?
okay. Okay.
Because-
Michael, i.e. Jesus. Yeah, that's funny.
Because Jesus is the Prince of Peace, so that's why they make the connection like that?
Somewhat.
Oh, okay.
Well, they said because Michael was standing up, he had to be sitting down on a throne.
That's just
I know.
Well, that's...
Only 7 million people out there at your door.
And yet Stephen saw Jesus standing at
Yes,
the right
he
hand
did.
of God when he
He
was
did.
being martyred.
Yes.
Yeah. Good point.
And some have said, Jesus cannot bear to sit down anymore. Watching Stephen being martyred. Wait a minute, what's going on? Whatever that is. He stood up to watch this poor man being stoned to death. That's horrible. Okay, Daniel 12:2, of course, you preach this often, because it has the sleepers of death, which is a beautiful doctrine, I think. At that time, 12:1, Michael, the great prince, i.e. angel, the great angel, he's one of the great angels in 10:13, you use that one, right? He's one, and Jesus is not one of anything, you see that? It's not going to work. Michael is one of the chief angels.
God, sorry.
In 10:13, you throw that one at the JWs as they leave you. And you get this one, the great prince who stands over the sons of your people, so in charge of Israel, I suppose, will arise, means go into action, right? I like that. Will arise. Get going, right? Get moving, go into action. And there will be a time of distress such as never occurred since there was a nation until that time, and never can be anything like it. And this is a key verse for Jesus, isn't it? You can only have one unique great tribulation. Granted, and you tell people, Acts 14:22, through much tribulation we enter the kingdom. That's one thing. There's only one great tribulation. And what people do, they will not join Jesus' words with this one. Once you do, you see this is an end time thing. Yeah.
Romans 8, King James
Yeah.
has it in the NIV. Enos.
Has what now?
You told me to check. Romans 8,
Oh yes.
18.
Enos, good.
King James and the NIV have Enos
Yes.
and others.
Good, that's great, thank you. Important distinction. The translators are getting away from the idea that you're any good, you're just a bunch of nothing, that's right, you can't do nothing. No, your face is going to shine like the sun in its strength. That's the glory that's going to be revealed in you. I get it. Okay, so this one in Daniel 12 then, many multitudes of those who are currently sleeping, this is for the children. Okay, what are the dead doing? They're sleeping, Mama. I get it. Don't tell me they're up there playing harps in heaven. That's not going to work. They're sleeping, tells you what they're doing, and in the ground, dustland, Admat Afar, Adam word there, Admat Afar, the dustland, that tells you what they're doing. It doesn't sound like to me that they're frightfully active in heaven. Will awake, they'll wake up. That's great. And what happens then? And we go on. Some to disgrace and everlasting contempt. The rabbis already knew there was a distinction there. You know, in Revelation 20, you've got only the faithful get raised. J.W. spoiled all that by getting rid of verse 5, where it says the rest of the dead did not come alive to the end of the 1,000 years. They got rid of that in order to have resurrections during the 1,000 years. That doesn't work. You have to correct that. But the rabbis, in some of their writings, said some of those come alive at one point, and then the others who come alive later. So they had a concept of a double resurrection. But it's very clear in Revelation 20. Those who have insight, essentially, this is you guys, who have insight, will shine brightly, like the brightness of the expanse of heaven. And those who lead many to being right rather than wrong. I like that. Like the stars, forever and ever. You ever think of this? Hollywood has its stars, doesn't it? God has his stars too. Hollywood has its stars, right? Every field has its stars, doesn't it? You're the stars. And that's not to get, big-headed. God has, in his grace, allowed us to see this. But we're stars. We should shine brightly. Okay, so in connection with those who lead many to righteousness, I must give you Isaiah 53:11. Much underread text, Isaiah 53:11. Has this about the suffering servant. 53:11. I'm tempted to read the beginning of this. If you ever feel discouraged, by the way, what does verse 1 say? Who has believed our message? I can't get them to see it. You hear this all the time. Whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up, now describing the Messiah, he grew up before God like a tender shoot, and so on. Has no stately form, right? It wasn't obvious that Jesus was a royal figure, was it? Just another guy, just a mere person, right? They had to go and kiss him to identify him. Just a very ordinary looking chap. And no appearance that we should be attracted to him. He wasn't 6'5" and good looking necessarily. He was, if that's good looking, I don't know if it is. 5:3, he was despised. Are you ready for this? You are suffering servants. Paul quotes these verses of himself and Barnabas. You aware of that? You are corporately the suffering servants. Are you ready for this? He was despised and forsaken of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief, like one from whom men hide their face. He was despised and we did not esteem him. Surely our griefs, here's the substitutionary thing, our griefs he himself bore, our sorrows he carried, yet we ourselves thought him stricken. We thought he was being punished for his own sins, you see. We thought he was stricken. But the chastening in verse 5 was for our well-being, and it fell on him. That's got to be substitutionary, hasn't it? This produces our well-being, but the suffering was put onto him in our place. By his scourging we are being healed. We're healed. All we, like dumb sheep, or we rather, like dumb sheep have gone astray. I put in the word dumb there. Each of us has turned to his own way. But Yahweh has caused the iniquity of us all to fall on his shoulders. He was depressed, afflicted, did not open his mouth. Did you know that this next one is quoted of us? Like a lamb led to the slaughter, like a sheep silent for its shearers. That's in the New Testament, quoted of Christians. Are you ready for this? As like a sheep silent for its shearers, he didn't open his mouth. By oppression and judgment, he was taken away. As for his generation, he had no family to leave, natural family. Who considered that he was cut off, as Daniel 9:25, cut off after the 69 weeks, out of the land of the living, for the transgression of my people, to whom the stroke was due. It really was due to us. That's very, very clear, isn't it? That's got to be substitution. I think Sean will talk about that. His grave was assigned with wicked men, yet he was with the rich man in his death. You know that tomb was a wealthy one, because he'd done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. The Lord was pleased to crush him, putting him to grief. If he would render himself as a guilt offering, there are all those sacrifices right there, rehearsed over and over, piled on him, obviously. He will see his offering, he will prolong his days eventually, and the good pleasure of the Lord will prosper. And now this is the verse. As a result of the anguish of his soul, he will eventually see this and be satisfied. This verse, by his knowledge, this is tying in with Daniel, right? The insight. Those who have insight will make many right rather than wrong. By his knowledge, not only his death, the righteous one, my servant, will make the many right. That word justify is hiding there. Justify is rather awful. It simply means to make you right. Like a right margin, right? Rather than crooked. You're no longer crooked, you're right now. Not perfect, not sinless. But we turn these into theological terms and go. Very
And he writes really good on righteousness
Good.
on his introduction. And the New Interpreter's Bible, he has a really good introduction because he
Good.
wrote the commentary for Romans on
Good.
righteousness.
Good.
It's really good stuff.
not as technical and complicated. Okay, so therefore God will allot him a portion with the great. He will divide the booty because he poured out himself to death. This is Philippians 2, by the way, you know that. All of that is Philippians 2. Emptied himself, right? It's a quote from Isaiah 53:12. He poured himself out. In the same book, Paul says he's pouring himself out, right? Nothing to do with pre-existing and becoming a man. Everything to do with sacrificial service. Now, surely. Okay, so that's the top of that. On the right, then, spirit. I just want to note that I've added a couple of verses there in the new copy you have. John 6:63, Steve Arndt's favorite verse. The words that I speak to you are spirit. John has a way of making a noun equal, right? God is love does not mean God is an emotion, but the core of who God is love. The words of Jesus are the very essence of spirit, right? I see that. Then 2 Samuel 23:2 I've added here. That's David singing his final song. We've got to read that. This is a goosebumps verse. 2 Samuel 23:2. This is kind of an idea. Robin, could you read that when you get there for us, please?
Yep. Okay. The Spirit of the Lord spoke by me, and His word was on my tongue.
Isn't that great? See the parallelism. One verse explains the other. If the words of God on your tongue, that's a demonstration of spirit. That's terrific. And then the other one I added is Job 26:4. Let's go there. And then I want Robin to say a couple of things about your work. You haven't done that yet, Robin.
Oh.
Yes. So we'll get to that.
Well, wait a minute, Joe.
Job, first of all, Job. Job chapter 26. Well, I've got them in my revised chart, right? We added them this week, updated them, right? So that's why I gave you a fresh copy of that. 26 and verse 4. I love this. Job responds, "What a help you are to the weak. Ha, 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 you hopeless comforters. How in the world have you saved the arm without strength? You haven't helped me a bit. What counsel you have given to one without wisdom," right? In other words, Job has no wisdom, and these people are coming along trying to straighten him out, and he's saying, "You're no help anyway." Verse 4, "To whom have you uttered words, and whose spirit was expressed through you?" Isn't that good? What we hear coming out of your mouth, isn't it so true? Death and life are in the power of the tongue. We know who you are when you speak, because your heart tells us who you are. So the Spirit of God is expressed in what you say. Doesn't that make sense? I love that. Anyway, the rest of the chart goes on, all the different aspects, eternal life, sonship, justification, being made right, sanctification, same idea, regeneration, I'm going anti-clockwise there, conversion and salvation, and then all of this is piled into the middle. They all seem to come from, that's my impression, the seed, right? That's a seed, an ovum, if you like. All of those things are branching out of that. Robin, would you like to give a brief account of what you're up to? Come up here so you can be visible. If you'd like to, don't have to now.